Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to the exciting episode of Grandpa's Story Hour. I am Jason and Wyatt's grandpa. Hello, Jason. Hello, Wyatt. I hope you're being really nice to Mommy and Daddy, and I hope all you boys and girls are being nice to Mom and Daddy, okay? You all better be nice to Mommy and Daddy. So here we go. You ready? I'm ready. This is Horton Hatches the Egg. Horton Hatches the Egg by Dr. Seuss. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored and I've kinks in my leg from just sitting here day after day. It's work! How I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest, if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Whew. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest? The elephant laughed. Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Tut, tut, answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back, while I'll never be missed. Well, we'll see about that, huh? Well, moving on. Well, very well, said the elephant. Surely you insist. You want a vacation? Go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodle-oo, sang out Maisie and fluttered away. Doing a good job today, Jason and Wyatt, boys and girls. The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done before I get on it. I must weigh a ton. Probably. Elephants are pretty big, huh? Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little eggs slept. Horton's pretty funny. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. And he sat all day, and he kept the egg warm, and he sat all night through a terrible storm. It poured, and it lightninged. It thundered. It rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish he'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. That'd be a shame, huh, boys and girls? But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach and having such fun, such wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. Oh, my goodness. Come on now. Come on, Maisie. What are you doing? What are you doing, Maisie? What are you doing? So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away, and then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, Whoosh, I'll stay on this egg, and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. Oh, poor Horton. Poor Horton. Doing a good job listening to Jason and Wyatt, boys and girls. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Look, Horton the elephant's up in a tree! They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird. He's just trying to be a friend, Jason and Wyatt, boys and girls. He's just trying to be a friend. They laughed and they laughed. Then they all ran away, And Horton was lonely. He wanted to play. But he sat on the egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. We should all be faithful 100%. All of us should be. You say what you say, you do what you do. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For while Horton sat there so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Ooh, look at this. Oh. Hunting is okay. Hunting is good. Here we go. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right straight at his heart. But again, hunting is okay. Hunting's good. Here we go. Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high and he threw out his chest, and he looked at the hunters as much as to say, shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, say it with me, 100%. Love it. But the men did not shoot. Much to Horton's surprise, they dropped their 3 guns and they stared with wide eyes. Look! They shouted. Can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree? That's strange. It's amazing. It's wonderful. No! Don't shoot him. We'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. While he's terribly funny, we'll send him back home to a circus for money. The first thing they knew, they had built a wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. We're off, the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy 100%. Doing a good job listening, boys and girls. Up, out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains, 10,000 feet high. Then down the mountains and down the sea went the cart with the elephant, egg, nest, and tree. Yikes, that's a lot of work. Then out of the wagon and onto the ship, out over the ocean, and ooh, what a trip. Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray, and Horton said, day after day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, but, I'm seasick, 100%. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted. And down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, sit still on his perch. Tied onto a board, they could just scarcely hold him. Bump! Horton landed. And then the men sold him. He got sold. Well, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Sold to a circus. Then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington, too, to Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota, and everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat in the hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, say it with me, 100%. That's very cool. He's doing his thing. He kept his promise. Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach. And dawdling along way up high in the sky, who, of all people, should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy. And spying the flags in the tents just below, she sang out, What fun! Well, I'll go back. I'll go to the show. Maisie. And she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. Good gracious, gasped Maisie. I've seen you before. Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, But before he could talk, doing a great job listening today, boys and girls. Jason, Wyatt, love you. Doing a good job. There rang out the noisiest ear-splitting squeaks from the egg, and he said, on the 51 weeks, a thumping, a bumping, a wild, alive scratching. My egg! Shouted Horton. My egg! Why, it's hatching! Uh-oh. Let's see what's inside of it. But it's mine, screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. It's my egg, she sputtered. You stole it from me. Get off my nest and get out of my tree. Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. Not good, man. Here we go. See what happens. See what happens. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something a whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. Go figure, boys and girls, Jason and Wyatt. And the people came shouting, "What's all this about?" They looked. They stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. My goodness, my gracious, they shouted. My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be like that. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said. And he said what he meant. Very sweet. And they sent him home happy 100%. Outstanding job, boys and girls. Jason and Wyatt. I love you, Jason and Wyatt. I love you, boys and girls. Thank you so much for listening. Hey, moms and dads, if you would, there's a little Venmo account in the description. Always would love to have your help and your support. It's great. Thank you so much. Till next time, be nice to mommy and daddy. Be nice. Love you. Bye.